one more question about that. As far as like external adverse events, so say Dr. Carpenter has an adverse event at her site, will all the other sites be notified? Because we actually have to report like external adverse events to our IRB as well.
I'm not sure, and maybe some of you who met with the DSMB, did you take that on? Because sometimes that's included in a DSMB report, and then you're often required to provide the DSMB report to your IRB. So that's where you might get that information.
Okay.
But what would have to happen for the sites to all know about that is that discussion would have to happen not just with the DSMB and whoever the PI is, but would have to be discussed at a steering committee meeting and distributed. But it'll be prepared for the DSMB,
Right.
so it will be available. It's just a matter of making sure it gets into your hands.
That's partly why things move so quickly with the reporting period, is to make sure all the notifications that will benefit for the participants and the study can happen efficiently.
You know, at this point in time, as you're now going through IRBs, you're going to get some idea of, maybe you've worked with your IRBs enough that you already know where their quirks are or what the requirements are at your institution. But as you get some of that information, it will be helpful to let us know, or your PIs will let us know, so that we can make sure that things are incorporated to make that as easy as possible for you. If it's reporting that you have to do routinely and everybody has to do it, then it seems like it's a report that we should facilitate preparing, or it should be prepared by the DS. Other questions about the form that I'm working on for the serious adverse events, just because I figured then NIA will approve it, is one that I've gotten off of the NIA website, and then I'm sort of incorporating aspects specific to this trial. So it should be appropriate for this study and for almost any IRB, as well as the NIA reporting. Then some requirements about discontinuing study pills. That study pills should be discontinued if you find out the participant has become pregnant, despite all of our cautions. If she identifies suicidal thoughts or actions, again, as I think I mentioned, she should be referred to a local psych clinician for urgent evaluation of the lethality of her thoughts or her potential to actually carry out suicide. And I think there is a requirement that you each have some psych clinician identified that you can make these referrals to. So if you don't know who that person is, you want to check with your PI. There are other medical contraindications that you would want to discontinue study pills. For example, if the participant's primary care provider decides that she should be put on MAO inhibitors or some other psychotropic prescriptions, then she needs to be referred to she needs to contact the clinic and probably have her study pills discontinued. But the main thing that I want to emphasize for those of you who've worked in other clinical trials where maybe for safety reasons unblinding is carried out, there's really no need to unblind participants who are having these kinds of things happen. You would stop their study pills whether they're on active or placebo. However, as probably some of you know, when serious things are happening, sometimes their physicians want to know what they were taking, in which case you probably would need to unblind. The goal would be to unblind as few people as possible. And so that ideally that unblinding would just go from the person who's unblinding the participant to her primary care provider, not to any other staff. It's not documented in the record other than that an unblinding occurred. And the participant isn't told, it's left to her primary care provider feels like she needs to know. But to be able to preserve blinding as much as possible, we want to sort of limit the number of people who are unblinded, but also respect the primary care providers need to take appropriate care of issues that are coming up. So are there questions about that? Yeah. It's not an unblinding form, and I don't, Mike left, but I think what we have is an unblinding function in the database, so that you go in and enact the unblinding function. You have to answer some questions to make sure that it's not just a trivial thing. And that way, we're able to sort of track some rationale are offered, and we're actually able to then track why unblindings occurred overall. But it's done in the database.
Barbara, at the end, are they going to know what they were taking, or is that not
Yes.
part of it?
Yeah.